Creating content is a critical element to any successful marketing plan. Today, I have a special guest with me, and we're going to talk about how to make that easier by working with a content writer. I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am super excited to have with me Jessica Olma with ScribeSyndicate. Jessica, welcome and thank you for taking the time.
Hi, thank you for inviting me. I've been a content writer for about 7 years now with my business, and I help people to get their websites looking, more visible, more pleasing to the eye. Yep. We do blog articles and white papers and downloadable materials, all designed to make you look your best.
Yeah, hey, that is the critical element of it, right? I think a lot of people don't understand how essential and important good content and good copywriting is to the success of their marketing. So I'm super excited to talk to you today and to get into how we can work with content writers, because I think some people also have worked with content writers in the past and it hasn't been a good experience, and so they immediately write it off, which really isn't. That's not the case. There's plenty of great content writers out there. We just need to know how to work with them to make it successful, right? So let's get into the first thing. What are some of the common signs that my business might benefit from working with the content writer?
Well, if your visitors or readers aren't engaging with your material, you're not seeing likes, comments, sharing, they're not taking any kind of action, then they're probably not seeing it or engaging with the material itself. Yeah. Your content isn't showing up in searches, and your marketing consultant might be telling you the copy needs to be reworked before they can rank you. Yeah. And also, writing might be taking up a lot of your time, and now your business has begun to suffer for it. Right. So those are pretty major reasons that you might want to look into a content writer.
Yeah. So I don't have the time, or I'm spending the time, but it's not the highest and best use of my time as a business owner. And lack of conversions. I think lack of conversions is a really big one, right? You're putting these things out there and nothing's happening. A lot of times it has to do with your copy. It's not clear. It's not engaging. So yeah, I love that. And those are two really strong signs that you may need to look at working with the content writer. Once I decide I want to work with the content writer, what are some of the benefits that you think I'm going to see working with the content writer?
Well, you should get some really creative material, and the messaging should always be very clear. Yeah. The topics are researched when necessary, and sources are cited to back up any statistics or claims that you're making. Yeah. Content is properly formatted. The topic flows. Points are made concisely, and there should be at least one pleasing image in there. On-page SEO is a benefit. Your writer should know things about keywords, phrases, and tags to make it easier for people to find your content and be directed to your website to learn about you.
Yeah. Got it. Well, and I'm assuming so they're gonna be saving time, right? Because they're not gonna be spending that time writing that content. All of the things that you described there, the finished product is gonna be better in most cases, right?
Absolutely. They need to see a difference. And believe me, there's a difference between just doing it yourself and having a professional do it. But the one big thing that people forget about too is objectivity. By having someone else write the material, they can take, your ideas and things that you really need to be in there. They can make sure that your voice and tone is there. Yeah. And but they're also making sure that the points you're trying to make are clear. Yeah. And that the grammar and punctuation issue, if you're reading anything online and you see some poor grammar, you notice it, and it takes away from expertise. Yeah. So yeah, these are things that hiring a writer it can really help you out with.
Yeah, I think in most cases they're going to get better results by working with somebody that actually writes content and copywriting for a living.
Right.
One of the things that we found with website design when we're doing website design for clients is there are a lot of web designers out there that can put together great looking, pretty sites, but they ask for and expect the client to provide the content. And that just in most cases does not work because it's no fault or no knock on the client, but in most cases the client is not the best person to write copy. They can be a great person to gather the information, right? What makes you different? What are the problems that your clients are having? What are the benefits in working with you? They can communicate that, but since they don't write copy, they don't know how to write it so that it's effective.
Right. All they know how to do is convey it conversationally.
Yes.
And they don't know how to trim it down so it's concise and fits the website platform. And they don't know how to organize their thoughts sometimes. They may have a run-on of ideas that could be turned into several blog articles instead of, just this one blob of information that people don't want to read because it's too lengthy. And they forget that they're using their industry terminology, and they lose people because they don't understand. So yeah, I know that the clients sometimes are surprised when they're told that they need to provide the content. It can take them months to find the time or force themselves to do it, which holds up the whole web design process and marketing process in the end.
Yeah,
so they're not doing themselves any favors.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, that's one of the reasons why with website design, we provide content because it provides a better finished product and it keeps the project going. But yeah, the bottom line is as a small business owner, if I'm working with a content writer, I should be getting better results. It's a better finished product. It's more effective. And I'm saving my time so that I can focus my efforts on other things that I do better.
Right.
Right. So I love that. What about working with a content writer? Because I know this is, there are varying levels of content writers too. There are content writers where you may work with them and you get the finished product back and you have to tweak it. Right. Yeah. There are others where they're getting much more involved, much higher quality. But what types of things do I need to keep in mind as a business owner to ensure that I'm going to be happy with the finished product, right? So how can I work with the content writer as effectively as possible to get the best results?
Well, like most things, you don't want to just pick the first writer you meet. Consult with a few different ones and maybe on different levels. I know some people really like to go to those freelance platforms and try and find someone who's inexpensive. If you try that a few times and you realize it's not getting you where you want to be, then you need to step it up a notch and pay a little bit more and find someone who is actually a copywriter and has been maybe for a few years. So they have some idea of their expertise level. Asked to see a portfolio or examples of their work. That's if they've been doing it for a while, they'll have live website links to their clients, and they can just send you and say, "This is a site that I worked on. This is what my writing looks like." You can send them a link to a live blog and tell them which articles you've written, because often there's not a byline because we do ghostwriting mostly. But you can always verify too with the client that is in fact their work. Start with a small one-page project and see if you're happy with the results, and then decide if you want to continue, because writers are contracted per project. Once that project's over, you're under no obligation to continue with them. And if you need to look for someone else that you think would be a better fit, then that's all you need to say. Which brings me to also there should be some back and forth to get the voice and tone. And if you're not comfortable talking with them, you won't understand whether or not you've got a good personality fit.
Right.
And depending on how important it is that they get that voice and tone right, there's going to be, between the first couple articles or projects, there's going to be some discussion about what you're doing and what they want you to do. And so, and this is funny too, that I talk to some people and they almost feel bad to come back to me and say, well, I really kind of wanted it like this. I need to hear that. I need the feedback, and I welcome it, because the first thing I'm going to do is make the adjustments so that they're happy.
Yeah. I think part of this too is
If you get
expectations.
offended, that's not going to work.
Yeah. If I go into this expecting it to be perfect, I'm going to be disappointed, because it's never going to be perfect. But do you feel like the clearer and the better direction and the more information I give my content writer, typically the end result is going to be much better as well, is it not?
Yes. The first thing I do when I consult with a client is ask them, do they have any thoughts that are written down, any draft information, an old website that I can look at that has material on it that they need, but they don't like the way it's worded, but I know what the basis of the content is going to be. I look at their social media profiles. I look at Facebook content. I look at anything they've got out there to see how they describe their business and services, and then tweak it to what they're telling me they truly need.
Yeah.
So that's it. Yeah. The more they can give me, the better. I'll even ask them for examples of websites or blog articles that they've read that they really liked. For the content, and also for how it's arranged.
Yeah.
So formatting, it can be important too.
I want to pull out a couple of things that you said, because I think they're super important. One of the things you talked about was copywriting and content, and I think they're two different things. Sometimes you can work with the same person to get that done, but typical content like a blog post or a social media post, something like that, is different than copywriting, which copywriting is content, but it's meant to sell. And so I think when you're looking at choosing a content writer to work with, you do have to have a really clear understanding of, is this copywriting or is it content writing? I may be able to work with the same person, but I need to make sure, because there are plenty of people out there that write content that are not copywriters.
Right. And you do need to ask the person, because they'll either be calling themselves a copywriter, or in the case that I do, a digital content writer. And the difference being that I am not focused on advertising material.
Yeah.
I am more focused on getting the about, home, and service pages of your business done correctly, in more of a storytelling narrative language.
Yeah.
And then the educational or informational pieces in the blog articles, and researching it and citing it properly. But then there are people that call themselves copywriters. They do both, but some of them will angle more towards the advertising. So you really do need to ask what their writing niche is. What do they usually work on? And I always explain to people that my big points are web pages and blog articles. Yeah. I do so much more, but that's where I'm angled.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's what you like doing. It's what you're good at. Right. So yeah, I think it's a really important, and it's totally okay. I mean, there's businesses out there that work with multiple copywriters and content writers, and that's a totally okay thing to do. You just have to come into this knowing what your goals are, asking the right questions. And like you said, I love your tip about, start on a small project, have them write a blog article. I mean, there's very little risk involved in doing a small project.
Exactly.
And you can figure out, hey, do I like working with this person? Is this going to be a good fit? And if it is, great. If it's not, then you can move on, and there's no love lost. But
right.
Yeah.
And they should offer, though, too, a free initial consultation where you can sit down and talk about what you have in mind and see if that's what the writer does.
Yeah.
And if they want to move forward on your project, because you just need to determine that right up front.
Absolutely. Totally agree. This has been awesome. These are great tips. I really do appreciate you taking the time, Jessica. Where can people learn more about you?
Well, they can go to my website at scribesyndicate.com, or they can simply search the internet for Scribe Syndicate. A page will pop up and they can choose to look at my LinkedIn profile, Facebook, a magazine article that was done on my business, Alignable even. So, there'll be lots to choose from for them to get to know me and find out more about what I do.
Cool. That's awesome. If you need some help writing content, please check out Scribe Syndicate. Jessica knows what she's doing. She can get you taken care of. I really do appreciate you taking the time. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Tim Fitzpatrick with Rialto Marketing. If you need clarity on where to focus your marketing efforts based on where you are at right now, go to our website, rialtomarketing.com, and schedule a free consultation with us. I guarantee you will get a ton of value from it. And remember, marketing your business shouldn't be a challenge. All you need is a plan. Till next time, take care.